webinar series with Cadila. And before we begin, I invite Mr. Abhinand Pandya, who is one of the founding pillars of Industrial University, and he is helping us as a strategic project manager. And today he will be sharing with us a brief note on why we have initiated this webinar series. So over to Abhinand, sir. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning, kids. Kem cho, majama. Hope everybody's right.
Majama.
Charged up, then say majama. M. Type M in your chat box. Many of you are majama. If you are not there majama, then don't write M. Let me see how many of you are able to write M in the chat box. Wow, I can see Shivang, Bansari, Zeba, Viraj, Pashwa, Chitrangi. Go. Love, yes, everybody's majama. Very good. Vishwa, good. Vicky, yes. I can see a lot of them. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning, Abhinand.
Start up for this session. હવે છોકરાઓ આ આપણે એક સ્પેશિયલ સિરીઝ સ્ટાર્ટ કરીએ છીએ કેડિલા લીડરશિપ સિરીઝ. You know, this is a special series in a way કે આપણે when we are learning 18 થી 22 વર્ષ સુધી when we are learning, 4 years is equal to your 40 years. But over the next 40 years, what you are going to learn is going to be more of your management skills, other things which you are going to learn. But તમને કોઈ એમ કહે કે આ જે 40 વર્ષમાં તમે જે શીખવાના છો એનો નિચાળ જે છે એ તમને કોઈ આવીને 1 કલાકમાં કહી જાય તો that is worth of it. તમને આ બધું ઇન્ટરવ્યુમાં કામ લાગશે. It will help you out in the life also. So we are starting with some of the most senior leaders in Cadila to help you guide with their experience in their field. And over a period of time, I'll tell you, just like I was an engineer, my father used to push me every time, कि जा internship कर. You won't believe that I was not the topper in the class. But because of my internship and the experience which I got it from the industry leaders, I was able to crack the interview and I got into Tata Chemicals. That was my first job as an intern. So all these things helps you a lot. That's why I will say that you take maximum mile of this Cadila leadership series and then try to get maximum out of these leaders. These leaders have proven themselves in their field. Just like I tell you, Ravi Bhai has been our champion in the sales throughout. He is going to be a red star, you know, right? Red diamond in the field of things. Red diamond is very rare. You know, you will find a blue diamond, you will find a pink diamond. You will not find a red diamond. Ravi Bhai is like a red diamond in sales field. And you are going to listen from him. He is in charge of our IRM group. IRM group takes care of our forex business, our veterinary business, our agro business, pharma machinery sales. આ બધાના head છે. So you are going to listen from a great leader. Likewise, we are going to start with a leadership series in different field. You know, chemical, chemistry. And I will like that everybody of you take this opportunity to listen from these stalwarts in the leadership series. And I thank to our chairman who has proposed this leadership series કે તમને લોકોને આટલું બધું મળે. No university will give you such thing in a funnel. You know, they are funneling you for everything. કે આટલા બધાનું knowledge અને જ્ઞાન તમને મળવામાં આવે છે. You know, just like a small kid or knowledge, you must get the knowledge. You know, અધૂરો ઘડો હલે તો અવાજ કરે, પણ the knowledge, if you are there, you will speak with truth and confidence. So be like that. I want my IU kids to be the bright star in the field. Over to Namrata ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the background of today's webinar series. And now I invite Mr. Pradeep Singh from Cadila, who is in L&D department, to reflect a few words on this occasion.
So good morning, all of you, and good morning to all my panelists, and good morning, my dear students of Industrial University. I will not take much time of yours. Only thing I will say here is I used to wonder in my school days when I was given an example of, you know, the great persons like Abraham Lincoln or, the Bill Gates and all, because I have not seen them. So it was very difficult for me to correlate myself with them because actually I have not met them. I have not seen them. Right. So here what we thought is, let's have words from someone who is among us, who has grown among us, who has seen life the way I am looking at, who has the same perspective. ऐसे आदमी से हम सुनते हैं जो हमारी तरह की जिंदगी जीते हैं, जो हमारी तरह से लाइफ के बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, and then they have seen all the best of their life. So that is why it always excites me, because quoting those examples will not have any impact on my life. But when I listen to Mr. Ravindra Pulanaru, when he himself has seen everything in his life and he is coming from a very humble background, it makes a lot of sense. I think this will be a real turning point in all of yours career. With this, I hand over again to Ms. Namrata. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pradeep, for setting again and clarifying the objective of this entire series. Now I invite Ankit Singh, who is one of our students from BSc Chemistry 5th semester, to officially introduce and welcome Mr. Ravindra, who is speaker of this session today. And because it is meant for students, so it is by the students and for the students. Of course, it is hosted by Cadila and Ayub jointly. So over to Ankit. Ankit, good morning, and you can start introducing sir.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot. Good morning, everyone. I am Ankit Singh, and today I feel really very privileged to introduce and put on credentials of our today's eminent speaker, Dr. Ravindra Kumar Pulanaru. So starting with his, sir is an MBA in marketing and HR from Indira Gandhi National Open University, and he pursued his bachelor's in commerce and economics from St. Joseph College. So started his career as a sales representative in Bangalore, and now his career is over 35 years long. And in this long career, he has transformed many businesses. Currently, sir is Chief Operating Officer at IRM Group of Companies, which is again part of Dr. Rajiv Modi's business conglomerate. And if I talk about IRM is into everything, almost means aviation, agro, tissue culture, biofertilizer, travel, finance, and many other facilities. So sir has also served as CEO, then cluster head and senior VP at our very own Kerala Pharmaceuticals Limited. And initially sir has also served as SBU head at Panacea Biotech Limited and as a general manager at Piramal India Limited. Now, the most important thing that I like the most, sir believes that nothing is unsurpassable. We can achieve everything if people meet or unite with common purpose. So with this, on this note, I invite and warmly welcome our today's speaker to take this virtual stage and guide us through. Thank you.
Thank you, Ankit. Sir,
you,
correct
sir.
him if he has, erred or something, just
Yeah.
Thanks, Ankit. I think you picked it up from the LinkedIn profile. So,
yeah,
Yeah. Actually,
so yeah, I cannot lie on my profile, and it's true. Anything what Abhinand said, that I am from very humble background. Okay, I started as a sales rep and grew up the ladder through donkey's work. Later, I started operating my brain, so I lost all my hairs. So that's how I could climb the ladder of hierarchy. Very nice. Thanks everyone, and thanks Namrata for organizing this. My loving students from Indrashil University. It's a great dream of our CMD sir. So I'm very, very privileged to be the first speaker in this particular series, which Abhinand I think has ideated. And I know Abhinand for a long, long time. It's great getting a small introduction from Abhinand. Technical star and a great achiever. He talks to me about sales, but he himself is a great achiever. Good. And Pradeep for doing all the needful in the last couple of days. Thank you so much. I have to appreciate all of you because I think last 4-5 months, mankind has gone through very tough COVID times. I think our life was, pulled back by several years. But with all that, you people put up a brave face. When I can see this few photographs on the screen, I'm so happy to see people are still positive, energetic, and really want to, I can see a lot of freshness in the faces of all the people. In our background, we see mankind suffering. People are, becoming morbid, and deaths are taking place, and it's increasing in India. India has become the highest recorded country on COVID now. So we'll all have to be very careful. So I advise all my students and all the faculty and all the panelists here to continue exercising caution don't, lose the control on our precautions, using masks, keeping social distancing, not going into places which was not known to you, and getting sanitized every time it's possible. And when you reach home, please ensure you don't interact with your family members unless you have a wash. So that's all very important. But COVID times also has given us a lot of learning. And what has been the learning? The learning is, I think we can continue to be productive, even sitting at home. And how is it possible? I think technology has helped us significantly. Frankly, I am not a technology guy. I am not a technology guy, but then I have seen the benefits of technology. Like, for example, had I come to Indrashil University for the same lecture, I don't think I could have effectively talked to you like this that I am doing today. I think it's so clear. It's so visible. I can see every one of you on the screen. So something marvelous technology has provided us. Why I'm talking about technology? Because I think the substance of my talk to you will be based on this. So that's it. So let me go into this topic. Of course, when this topic was planned, what they don't teach you in college, I just took it because I was also a participant to deciding this topic. Later in the evening, when I was just ruminating over this topic, I was just thinking that, yeah, possibly when you look to the literal meaning of this topic, there's the elemental bias against the teachers. Because, you know, you get a feeling that what you don't get taught in the college, you expect that the teachers are not doing their job. It is not that. Actually, the topic should be slightly, changed. What they can't teach you or what they will find it impossible to teach you in college. So I want to, separate the teachers from this, the further topic that I'm going to talk to you. I want to separate the teachers from any insinuations that would force. Instead, I would like to force the fingers to point on oneself, to ourselves. Okay, that is the students of IU, for any failure to get taught for what we are in this college. Suddenly I realize I am talking to a religion in itself, because you guys are called the millennials. You know that? It's an awesome word. This word has been doing the rounds for many years now. I was also not, very impressed with this word, but then actually it's a very powerful word. How do you define it? The Bhagavad Gita of the millennials, you guys belong to the religion of millennials, say these rising stars are born between 1981 and 1996. And they are in the most productive part of a man's life, that is between 23 to 38 years of age. I think most of the IU folks which I am addressing today are in this age group, right? So I would like to just give you a macro data to just correlate how strong these millennials are. The life expectancy today in India, 2020, is 69 to 70 years, okay? 150 years ago, during the British time, the life expectancy was just 32 years of age. Today is 70. 100 years, 100, 125 years back, 32 years of age. Meaning that the life expectancy in India has almost doubled in the last 100 years. I have a question number 1 to you people, which actually will force you to think how prepared you have to be to take the challenges of the world. So the question number 1, is there a big possibility of human race living up to 150 years of age, say by 2120, which is 100 years ahead of us now? Because we are already aided by expanding health and technology support, okay? So if so, suppose if the extrapolation goes on like this and we live up to 150 years, do you have a plan? You should have a plan rather for a productive life of more than 50, 60 years. Unlike my age group, my generation, which have a productive life of 30 years. So almost the productive life for the millennials will double to 50, 60 or possibly 70 years beyond that also. Agreed? So this is a question number one. Is there a chance for you guys to live up to 150 years? See, already Google's Calico project initiative is going on, which is working on the single objective of expanding human lifespan. So that's what I said, that technology is also supporting increasing the lifespan of human beings. Today, as of today, while India's life expectancy is 70, Hong Kong has got a life expectancy of 90 years. I think if anybody has read James Hilton's book called The Lost Horizon, which was published in 1933, he had talked about people who don't know their age in Tibetan lamasseries. Okay, so human beings are living in the world today who are living beyond this 100 years. So why have I stressed on this life expectancy is to emphasize your colleging doesn't stop and can't stop when you get the certificate. Okay, when you get the certificate, the learnings has to go on, which college can't teach you, but one has to learn himself. So this is the major point why I hit on this life expectancy point. There will be no retirement, gentlemen. So come to the hard facts, which I want to ask you. Why do we enroll into colleges? After all, highly successful people like Bill Gates and Dhirubhai Ambani were not college products. The first answer I would get from you, I would have got it had I addressed you physically, I would get from you is that you would tell me, not everyone can become like them, you know. Not everyone can become Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos and, you know, Dhirubhai Ambani. I would agree to that. I agree to that. It's very true. But everyone can be successful in his own way. Right? You need not become a great person if you become fantastic, but you can become successful in your own way. So I answered you for the first. Second point that you might ask me, is there so much of space available for so many successful people or men? Correct? So you might ask me, why is there a space for so many successful men? You might be wrong on this point. In monetary terms, gentlemen, there are 2,095 billionaires in 2020. 2,095 billionaires with a net worth of $8 trillion US. Net worth of 2,095 people, billionaires, is $8 trillion US. In the year 1990, which is 30 years back, the number of billionaires were only 265. Okay. So I'll ask you the question number 2, which is, can we expect 10,000 billionaires in the year 2120? If 30 years can add 10 times the number which was in 1990, make 10 times, you will be reaching this 10,000 number or much more. More than this, can I see a few students of IU part of this group? This billionaire group. See, this 2095 billionaires of 2020, if I put them in an island and, you know, I call it a country, this will be the third most powerful, financially strong country in the world. You understand the power of money. So my question, please put it in your mind, that if the world can have 10,000 billionaires in the year 2120, can you be one of those guys? It's not impossible, because great people like, you know, Dhirubhai Ambani and you know, Bill Gates have not attended IU college or any college for that sake. But there are some hard pinching facts which I'll talk to you now. Don't get upset. We all come to college to qualify for the course we opt for with a very clear objective to become contributive and productive. Okay, we all come to college for that sake, agreed? Either we get employed and earn salary and the perks we get, or do something of our own and earn money. This is from your perspective, which is perfect. I think everyone comes to the college to learn something and then, you know, be go into the market and earn money. Okay. But from the national perspective, this is from your perspective, I told you, from national perspective, our Prime Minister wants you to be part of his dream to make India a 5 trillion economy by 2025. Okay? From the present 2.9 trillion economy. So he wants to double the GDP of our country. Unfortunately, today you will see the newspaper report, our GDP has fallen by 24%. Seriously, when the Prime Minister says that Indian economy has to become a 5 trillion economy, he is looking at you millennials to contribute to more leadership pool. Please understand, I am mark this word leadership pool in a bold, black, big thing in your mind. He wants you to contribute to more leadership pool in conceivably every sector of the economy. So look at the opportunity you people are having. Okay. So this is what it is. So where are we as a country on the advantageous position with respect to what the Prime Minister expects of you? The median age in our country today is only 29 of our population. Matlab, you guys, the millennials, that's what I said in the first round, that you are a religion in itself. The group sitting here, listening to me, a part of this conversation, are the largest segment of the population, because the median age today in India is 29 years, and therefore India is the youngest country to have a thriving pool of millennials in its workforce. Agreed? Workforce. That means you people are able to do productive and contributive work. My question to you, question number 3. Pradeep, note this, question number 3. Are you ready? Are you ready? You might say, yes, sir, we are ready. The group will say, yes, sir, we are ready. But I would say, no, you are not ready. Why is that you're not ready? Because of the challenge of employability. Understand employability? This word is very important because further up I'll talk more about it. Everything is part of the teaching that you'll have to do yourself. So we'll discuss about it. So what is employability? Employability is a set of skills, knowledge, and personal attributes that make an individual more employable. Employability is a set of skills, knowledge, and personal attributes that make an individual more employable. Producing employable graduates forms part of the process of educating. It encompasses the full educational spectrum of values, from imparting knowledge and understanding to developing skills and attributes. Are you clear what employability means? That you should have a set of skills, which is technical and soft skills, plus knowledge and personal attributes that makes an individual employable. Okay, employable. So it literally means that attending college cannot make you employable. Simple, you'll have to develop a lot of qualities. And therefore come back to again the topic, what is impossible for your teachers to teach you. Very clear, okay? So now I will give you some reasons why I said no to you when you said yes for the question, are you ready? Okay? So why I say no? The NASSCOM McKinsey, they reported in 2009 through a lot of research that only 26% of India's engineering graduates are employable. 26%. In the year 2009, you might say that it's a very old report. I have a reason to why I quoted this 2009 report. So again, I repeat, the NASSCOM McKinsey in a 2009 report said that only 26% of India's engineering graduates are employable. There are figures for the other people also, because this group I know is just not engineers, but also, science graduates, etc. You will know Narayan Murthy is the chairman emeritus of Infosys. He questioned the quality of graduates from even Indian Institute of Technologies. Understand? Narayan Murthy questioned the quality of graduates coming from IITs. After that, an ASSOCHAM report said only 10% of the MBA graduates from India's B schools, okay, get a job right after completing their course as of 2012. Again, another report which was released on March 25th, 2019, it was called the Annual Employment Survey by Aspiring Minds, okay. It was told the general quality of India's engineering graduates is exactly where it was a decade ago. I mean, this is a 2019 report, and the Aspiring Minds report was referring about 2019, and it was telling that the general quality of students in terms of employability was equal to what it was in 2009. So there's not been significant change. Here we cannot blame the teachers, we cannot blame the institutions. We have to blame ourselves because we are not upgrading ourselves. Again, we'll revisit this topic. On top of this shocking series of revelations by all this couple of research points I said, is the finding that 80% of Indian engineers are not fit for any job in the knowledge economy. 80% are not fit to be employed in the knowledge economy. Knowledge economy is all what we see, the technology, the computers and the science and all that stuff. Okay, why this is very important, 80% in the knowledge economy is because, see, the world is working on the platform of technology. You cannot separate technology from human life anymore. I think grandfather sitting at home, 90-year-old, they have to know how to operate WhatsApp. They have to know how to operate Facebook. And they have to read, order through Amazon, Big Basket. So you have to have that basic skills for today's old people. By the time you people become old, there'll be no human contact. There'll be different world altogether. Okay. So no, and everything is driven by science. There's nothing which is not available and which cannot be driven by science. I'll again substantiate on this point. But the pathetic state of affair is that 80% of the Indian engineers, which will be the same number for the other people also, not fit for any job. Matlab, they are not employable in the knowledge economy. Okay. So what does it mean to learn from this macro data? Learning cannot and shouldn't stop. Okay. Learning cannot and should not stop. Just enrollment into a college is insufficient to qualify even when you receive a degree. Okay. If your learning stops, you get a degree, it's like a demonetized note. It's of no use, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen of this college, I'm telling you that. I repeat, if you get a degree in your hand after whatever number of years you spend here and you're not employable, it is like a demonetized currency. I will just talk about all the people who are sitting as employed people here. Did your interviewer ever check your certificates? Nobody checks your certificate. Nobody checks your certificates. I think by the time you face the interview, they come to know how good you are and how much you match with the CV that you have submitted. So nobody is going to look at your certificates. They don't have the time. They don't have the time to go through your CVs also. I'm telling you. At least Dr. Namrata and Pradeep and Abhinand Pandya can tell me that you can only say, sir, you will have to actually find time to say that which college I studied and what I did. Nobody wants to see your certificate. By talking to you, a couple of words, they'll find out how good you are for the job. And today's the way they interview you, you can find out whether you're employable. Okay, even if they make a mistake of recruiting you, they can know to sack you also after 6 months if you're not good enough. I mean, that is the seriousness about this employability. So I told you that it is a demonetized. If you have a degree without learning, it's demonetized currency. Your entire life you should treat as a college, because you guys have to live for 50, 60 productive years in the world or much more. I'm not able to fathom how many years you have to spend. So you have to treat your life as a college. If you treat your life as a college, then you will automatically teach yourselves. And this part of your life is very important. The college part, I mean, the college in the college part is very important. When I tell you, treat your life as a college. So this part of your life is actually important and the most enjoyable part of your life, because you know you are with a group of people and you are working with a common purpose. You people are still young and nascent. You people have not formed the bad human qualities of jealousy, gossiping, and all that stuff. You love each other. You love fun. You love enjoying. You love learning also, because there are some good things also which the survey talks about the millennials, which I'll tell you guys. So, so the learning as such is also two. Basically, you know, one is the hard part, which is the technical as well as, you know, the scientific part, and also the soft part, which about the human qualities, which I will just talk one by one. Hey, do I have the time, Namrata? How much time do I have?
Till 12:30. 12:30. We have another half an hour.
Oh, fantastic. But I can take half an hour.
Yeah, half an hour.
Okay, very good. So I told you learning is two. One is a hard part, one is a soft skill, which I will talk. The hard skills are so clear. Okay. So what do you mean by the hard skills? You have to learn your job to play the role you are recruited and paid for. Simple. Okay. You will have to learn your job and play the role you are recruited and paid for. And that sentence doesn't stop there. And paid for you have to play the role today, tomorrow, till your death. Even if you decide to stick to the same job. Like in the olden days, my time, if a guy gets a clerical job in a government, he can die as a clerk. In private sector, you come and get some job, you come and nobody will watch you. But your generation, nobody will going to tolerate. Every day there will be more challenges, more combining jobs, you know, more multitasking. So nobody is going to tolerate you. Either you have to go forcibly out or up. Now I'm not talking, you know, leave the world, but I'm talking about, you know, your career growth. So it's not going to be easy world for you guys. You will get more paid. I mean, the world will be better for you. You'll get the pizza and all that stuff. But you might not have a peaceful life. The chair is never permanent for you guys. You understand? So that be very clear in your mindset. So therefore, you will have to keep teaching yourself. You're learning yourself. How do you do it? We'll come back to it. Okay. So I was just telling you, even if, so what happens, you have heard about the recent concepts, what's happening in the tech industry, that already the technology industry, because of the change of technologies, the students, the present employees are of no use to many companies. And you have heard that companies themselves have asked people to go, or good companies with nice HR, they are looking at reskilling, upskilling and all that stuff. You have kept hearing to this world, you know, words. So this is a deep challenging area with global consequences. Because, see, when I started, I left my college in 85. Okay. So the computing and all started in the late 70s. And I still remember when I was in the final year of college, and those time it was, I mean, it was more of, you know, the bare things that you do in the college. So they said, we had a course called data management, and I had some Indian Institute of Science professors coming in Bangalore and teaching us. Okay. So those times, the language of the technology, knowledge industry was all about, you know, punch card, COBOL, Pascal, Fortran and all that stuff. So the words have moved now. Today the words are coding, wireless technology, artificial intelligence, robotics, etc. The Indian students have not been able to get taught or adapt or familiarize to the corporate requirements on these aspects of coding, artificial intelligence. The survey says the Indian students have not been able to familiarize as fast as possible. So there are some facts which will tell you. For example, the employment survey of 2019 again says coding, or the Indian engineers' ability to code, which basically is the bread and butter for everyone in the techie profession. And as they say, good coding skills or ability to write functionally correct code are possessed by only 4.6% of the Indian job applicants. You understand? Only 4.6% of the Indian job applicants today are having coding skills. Okay? Comparative numbers which I tell you, in the US, it's 4 times. Almost 20% of the job applicants in the United States of America are having coding skills. It is not a great number because 20 to 100 is a huge number, but they are far ahead of them. but Indian engineers are only 4.6% in coding skill, which today you find even primary school children do it for games and all. They have developed the coding skill. Okay, so this is a must for your learning. At a time that artificial intelligence is taking root as a very basis for new age tech, only 2.5% of Indian engineering graduates have the relevant skills to make a career out of artificial intelligence. 2.5%. Okay. Tech industry now requires skills like machine learning and data sciences and things that way beyond the vast majority of desi engineers. Only 1.5 to 4.5% of the student population who apply for job possess skills in data engineering. Okay, there are different figures for different technical areas, while only 2.8 to 5.3% are qualified in wireless technology. Okay, and for basic program, it's slightly better at 5.5%. So all the numbers are single digit numbers where our Indian engineers or the millennials sitting before me are capable of applying for a job. The bomber statement that I'm going to make now should not put you off, you guys. Out of all these percentages I said, only 50-60% of the people are employable. Why? Because only technical skill will not get you a job, gentlemen. Out of the numbers that I said, 2.5, 4.5, if you make it a population group of say 10,000, out of that 10,000, 50 to 60,000, I mean 5,000 to 6,000 only are eligible or employable. I come to the technical word, employable, which is about 1.5% of the people who apply for jobs. This is when the recruiters take other qualities into consideration like cognitive skills, language skills. Are you getting me? Hope you're all listening to me, right? Hearing me. Okay. So why is this? The survey says the following. Okay. Engineering education rather, is mainly theory based. Only 40% of the students perform internships. Only 40% of students perform internship, while only 36% of students perform internships beyond their required coursework. This is about the people who take extra initiatives. Okay. So I repeat, 40% of the students only perform internships and 36% only do internships beyond their required coursework. They make a very marked statement that students are trapped in the college bubble. Matlab, they just come to the college and do whatever is there and go back without getting into the real requirements and the demands of the industry. There is very little industry exposure. Only 47% of the students attend industry talks. 47%. 60% of the faculty don't discuss how engineering concepts apply to industry. You agree? All these numbers, it should not put you off because it's nothing, we have, that's the reason this talk is there, we have to overcome all these challenges. Okay. IU can be different. This is all India numbers, but IU can be different. So now the answer to this, how do we overcome, is that we should have a mix of counseling programs and adapting technology like artificial intelligence, tools that help students assess their skills, find appropriate company matches, and prepare for interviews. I think Abhinand was talking about internships and all that stuff. Will come very handy. Okay, now you would like to know what the industry expects out of you. Okay, so I will tell you what, so that you can get better prepared. Okay. Number one, the industry wants out of you is emotional and social intelligence. Now, in this place, it is not technical. Please understand. That's what I tell you. You might be skilled in some places. Still, you're not employable because you don't have emotional and social skills. But this is very important because it's now said that people or students, or I would say the millennials, who have better social and emotional intelligence, they are better prepared to lead teams and drive changes because it is now confirmed that emotions are strongly correlated with performance and productivity. And a good finding is that the focus on technical aspects has declined slightly. Okay. And the focus on softer that is emotional and social aspects increase significantly. You understand? So one of the important areas of learning and developing yourself is emotional and social intelligence. Companies have realized not all people react and respond to situations in the same way, and the healthy development of advanced social and emotional intelligence is critical to sound decision making and competitive success. So the learning and the good part of what I'm telling you, though basic emotional quotient is based on personality and upbringing, it can be boosted by improving on self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, social skills, and ability to show empathy. These are the skills you can develop. So each one of this, so what do you mean by self-awareness? I think the L&D people will talk about Johannes window. Correct, Pradeep? So Johannes window is basically what? What you know about yourself, what you don't know about yourself, what others know about yourself, what you don't know about, something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So once you make this matrix and know more about yourself, you can also be aware what are the gaps in my personality. Okay? Based on that, it goes into the self-regulation mode. You'll have to make appropriate way of living and way of interaction with people and close the gaps over a period of, it will not happen in 1 week or 1 month. It will take a lot of time. Okay. For example, like I am talking about myself. I'm a very short-tempered guy and I get angry. There are many times my colleagues are pissed off with me. Is it this? I don't know what all gully they gave me behind me, but they are very upset. But I have reduced a lot, been aware that there is a very bad quality, which I am aware. And I keep, but even today, morning I got angry. But I mean, it's very tough to get out of it. But we have to self-regulate. So that's how self-regulation is a very important thing. So awareness, self-regulation, motivation. So motivation is a very odd subject. L&D people will talk about motivation. I, for one, don't believe in it. Because motivation doesn't come from outside at all. There is no injection called motivation. My old boss has told me. Motivation, if it's a motor, it's within you. The motor, you will have to put it on, put it off. Okay? The other people will not help you. Nobody is bothered about you in life. Let me tell you that. Please take care of yourselves. Okay? So motivate yourself. If you don't want to motivate, you will die out of, I mean, you will be thrown out of the race. Okay? Social skills, very important. What is social skills? Participate in social functions, be with the people, be with the team, help other people, form a common purpose, and you be empathetic with the people, understand other people's view, and never lose contact. No, not only with your friends, WhatsApp group, also the people in the college. So I think this is very important. Now, I told you about the first industry expected area is emotional and social intelligence. The second is technical skills in emerging technologies and functions. Okay. So they say emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, IoT, natural language processing will see increased demand. 70% of Indian organizations will deploy artificial intelligence enabled solutions, leading to 50-60% jump in intake of people. See, even day before yesterday, there was an article in Indian Times of India where the big industry leaders were talking about how COVID has helped them to transit to artificial intelligence in a much faster way because they were forced to do it. Okay, otherwise it would have happened, but and they found very good results out of it. So now you people be very careful. COVID has actually taught the employers a lot of things. So we have to be much more, okay, enabled it, leading to, even for professionals not expected to be in strictly technical roles, please understand. Even for professionals not expected to be strictly in technical roles, familiarity with artificial intelligence, data sciences, analytic technologies will be highly sought after. Okay. Similarly, demand for professionals in cybersecurity and digital marketing will skyrocket. Please understand. And you have seen all this happening. Okay. Sorry, I had to turn some pages. I was very more careful this time preparing to face you guys. So the recommendation to you guys is that irrespective of the stage of your career, wherever you are, take appropriate courses. Take appropriate courses in data sciences, analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning technology to stay relevant in changing times. Okay, this is the recommendation of not the Ravindra Pulanur, by the research people who are more closer to you millennials. Please understand. So I told you that the last point that the industry expectation out of you is ability to thrive in a cobot environment. CO-BOT. Okay. And what it means is that because you have seen automation happening. Automation was basically earlier was robotics. Matlab you have a person in a metal form and he does whatever you want. There are things going in the assembly line, all that stuff. Today it's intelligent robotics. Matlab you are creating the human form in metal with brains. Okay, so they are improving. That's how you see that the job of a driver will go in the next 10-15 years. There is no requirement of drivers. Cars will go on their own. So what will happen to these drivers? What will happen to the surgeon? Huge complicated surgery with much lower blood loss and much complicated can be done by robots. They are intelligent robots. Like for example, if a doctor has to go into the middle part of the brain, the head, it's very tough. It's a huge skill for a surgeon to do that. But machines can do with absolute accuracy. Because if a human does it, the chance of that guy dying is 90%. Machine does it, it would be 10%. I will opt for the intelligent robot, not the doctor. And you will also do the same thing. Understand? So you will have to understand that automation is moving from robotics to intelligent robotics, and more companies will employ intelligent bots to boost efficiencies, reduce cost, and free up their workforce for focus more on value-added tasks. The result is more fluid, collaborative workplace where humans and bots will harmoniously boost each other's capabilities. So don't join companies looking for young girls working with you. You will have only bots. The bots can be, in the form of girls. Okay. So you guys be prepared to harmoniously live with beautiful bots. Okay. So what is the solution given by the people who research for this employment survey? Embrace change. Don't go into the cocoon. Don't become introverted. Embrace change and familiarize yourself with common forms of automation such as chatbots to discover how you can complement your strengths leveraging technology. Again, I think colleges will not teach you. It's impossible. You will have to teach yourselves. Again, I'm repeating the same points to you guys. And the last point, the industry expectation is aptitude to learn continuously, because they will not allow you to sit in the chair. They will keep giving you new tasks and you cannot say, boss, I don't know. I don't know how to operate SAP. I don't know this. You cannot say, is that okay, you will not get increments or you're not required. So, because, see, why aptitude to learn continuously? See, today technology is changing 10 to 12 years. Every 10 to 12 years, huge technological, paradigm shift in technology, which is happening. So companies want you to be part, because if your life in a company is 50, 60 years, there'll be 5 episodes of technology changing. So you'll have to be ready for that, because between the steam engine and the electric engine, it took 136 years. You know that? 136 years, chuk book. The millennials wouldn't have seen the train at all. How many people have seen that steam engine? Chuk book. We used to play in our kids. Whereas from steam engine to electric engine, it has taken 136 years. But technologies today change 10 to 12 years. Out of each technology, you will see the new things available to you every day. You go to a mobile shop, one mobile will be here and tomorrow the entire change will happen. Okay. So that's what the speed of technology. So the companies expect you to embrace change and familiarize yourself with common forms of automation. So you will have to have the aptitude to learn continuously. So what is the solution they are given? That you have to be very proactive. You have to seek training. Seek, S-E-E-K. Bold, beautiful words. Seek. Nobody will tell you. Your motor has to work within yourself. And you always should find out mentors. Find out good people. It could be your senior in the college. It could be your more intelligent friend. It could be a more hardworking friend. Seek mentors and also enroll in specific courses which can help you. Because in 4 or 5 years of college life, you can actually do a lot of online courses. And I mean, straight away you can Google it out and also join formal courses, okay? Apart from industry interactions, etc. Millennials are forced not just to spend years in classrooms, but also navigate a confusing jungle of jobs that didn't exist a decade ago and may cease to exist in a decade or two. What it means, what job was not existent has become today, and what is there today might not be there. So you will have to navigate through this jungle. How can they successfully navigate the maze of rapid work changes? The answer lies, again, there's a solution for you guys. The answer lies in plotting a career path that visualizes possible directions and takes into account several factors such as personality. Look at, these are the qualities you are required. Personality, experience, interest, cognitive ability, chosen field of employment, and employability quotient to identify what works best for an individual. Technology-driven scientific assessments can help millennials just to do that, okay? The good part about today's kids, today's millennials, as per the research, is that they are very confident people, which we were not in our generation, ambitious and achievement-oriented. Fantastic points, those people. While they have told that you guys are only 2.5% in wireless technology, 4.5% in coding, the same survey says that you people are excellent, beyond expectation on, you know, qualities like confidence and you know, I told you about, just hold on. Yeah, ambition and, you know, achievement oriented. They also have high expectations of employers, tend to seek new challenges at work, and are not afraid to question authority. They also have a sense of selflessness, which is a very great quality, yeah, that leads them to engage in social actions that makes a difference. They have a very strong team work mentality, which is very good. Broadly speaking, employers look at a mix of aptitude, language, personality, and domain skills. It's imperative for students these days to understand and realize the structural gaps in the system and also their personal inefficiencies, understand the importance of structured assessments and appropriate guidance to move in the right career path. Realize, gentlemen, the world outside your college is moving faster than you, okay? Faster than you. You have to realize this always. Think on these lines. Realize also that you are stepping into the global platform, not Gujarat or India. In our generation, we were just into the local market. You guys are stepping into the global market, okay? And you have to monetize your degree. Understand? You cannot have it, you know, just as a paper, and nobody wants to see it. If you want to monetize your degree, you'll have to make an impression with the people around you. Okay. Much more important than anything, which is a point that I want to make again, is that while you do all this, what I say, the fundamental qualities of human race, honesty, integrity, upholding moral values, doing your duty to your family, your parents, your friends, etc., seeking self-discovery, self-fulfillment, contentment, humility, shall continue to shape your personality and character. Don't forget, just because I'm a highly qualified guy, just because I go to US, just because I got a lot of money with me, don't lose all these basic qualities of honesty, integrity, etc. There is no place absolutely for ego and jealousy in life. It will be a waste of time and you lose your health. ये मत कुछ जरूरत ही नहीं है सब चीज़. Clear? तो आप है होगा. I am not saying as mortals we all have that qualities, but get onto the room and just say that boss, leave all that. It will not help you. It's spoiling your health. And another thing, please realize, is that you've got 24 hours only, whatever stage of life you are. You are a baby 24 hours, old age 24 hours, today also 24 hours. In this 24 hours, you've got a lot of things. While you are a student, you've got time for fun. After you get married, your wife will not leave you. Once you become a father or mother, your babies will take your time. After that, your mother-in-law will start striking you. So there are a lot of issues, but 24 hours. In this, you have to learn also, become efficient also, all that stuff. So that 24 hours, God will not change. All technology will change. Steam engine will become electric engine. Chatbot will become robot. But 24 hours, God will not change for you guys. And you have to sleep also. Because if you don't sleep for 8-10 hours, you will lose your health. Because more of guys today at young age, millennials are diabetic and hypertensive. You cannot afford to lose your health. So take care of your health also. You have to sleep well. Okay, and you have to WhatsApp also. You do everything, but 24 hours. You remember? So God will not extend that time. I can be very sure about that aspect. Okay, everything I am not sure what I am talking, but this aspect I am very sure. Okay, now otherwise what will happen? One word which I have coined myself, it will become gigo. If you come into college as a garbage, you will go out of the college as a garbage. So garbage in, garbage out. Clear? So that's what it is. Now, I am forced because I always like a lot of quotes. Somebody was telling me, so I all learn from the quotes of big people, done a lot of work. So Albert Einstein has said that it is not that I am so smart. It is just that I stay with problems longer. Okay. The second quote, I don't know who it was, but I like it always. Success is a sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. So don't think that after 2 years I'll start working hard. There are a lot of students who do that. अरे एग्जाम के टाइम पे पढ़ेंगे, कॉलेज के बाद कोर्स करूंगा, मेरे पापा के पास बहुत पैसा है, ये कोर्स के लिए 5 लाख देते तो 10 लाख उससे चूना कर देता हूँ, मैं चूना लगा देता हूँ. ये मत करना, हर दिन आपको पढ़ना चाहिए. ठीक है? तो that one is success is not is a sum of small efforts. It should be repeated day in, day out. And last of the quote, which I like the most, I keep repeating to myself because I get a lot of solace out of it, is Calvin Coolidge, who said, nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Okay? He says, talent will not, because nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. The second, he says, genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Then he says education will also not. Why? Because the world is full of educated derelicts. Okay? Then he repeats, persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Okay? So whatever you do, guys, you might be the most intelligent guy, you will be a genius, you will be very educated, but if you don't have the determination and persistence, you will be that garbage. Your parents would see and curse you guys. Your teachers will curse. Don't become like that. I want you to become a billionaire. Lot of opportunity there. For IU, I have a recommend. It might be happening, but I'll just recommend for myself. Form a strong student body to chart out the plan of action for the future. Strong student body. It should be a committee-like stuff. Form as many subcommittees, subject-wise, task-wise, etc., as per the challenges available. Have a structured discussion among these groups and other groups also to form goals and objectives, very clear timelines. Seriously start working towards seeking corporate expertise into the college through interactions and support, and become strongly environmental conscious, okay, environment conscious, and identify. See, for example, I'll tell you something. When I was, Abhinand, you can also listen to this. When I was the president of the Pharma Managers Association in Kerala, we didn't have the money to sponsor speakers. So what I used to do, there are 4 or 5 big hotels in that place. So I used to be very close with the receptionist and say, whenever a big man comes, please let me know. So the moment you find, okay, Abhinand Pandya, the CEO has come from IRM Energy, I will immediately go to the thing and I'll meet him. Sir, I want you to come and lecture my people. So can you please do it? I think good people, 99% people say yes. So I call Abhinand Pandya. So it becomes a sort of interaction. Some people come and talk something free of cost. What you have to just give them is a car. Many people will say, no, we will come. Okay. So you can, in Ahmedabad, seriously, so many big people come. So if the student body is strong in IU, you can make this particular effort fruitful. Okay. And I cannot stop telling you about a story. A lesson our late chairman Sahab used to say. I'll just take another. I think I'm on time, Namrata. Don't get up.
Yes, sir. Please.
So when I used to be in the branded. So we used to all have. I was a HOD, so we used to meet after the closing on the every first for a flash meeting with chairman sir and our CMD sir, now Dr. Rajiv Modi. So all the time there are some performance and non-performance. So there was a guy who never used to perform well. So chairman sir was very upset with him. After 5-6 months also, he says, "Yaar, why are you not able to do it?" Okay, so he gave some reasons. After that, he said, "How much will you do this month?" So this guy said some number which was below the target. Then chairman sir kept his hand on his head. He said, "Yaar, I am very upset with you." He said, "I want to ask you a question. You answer me. Suppose you are going from Ahmedabad to Bombay. Which ticket will you take? By train, which ticket will you take?" So this guy said, "Sir, I'll take Bombay ticket only." Correct, right? You will take Bombay ticket. So if you take a Bombay ticket, you can get down anywhere. You can get down in Bharuch, Surat, anywhere. Correct? If you want to go to Bombay, will you take a Surat ticket? You will not. So what he said, at least, yeah, think of your target. Where you reach is secondary. When I am asking you a target for this month, you are already telling me 50%. So you will never do 50%. So this was a lesson I learned from my loving, respected, late Indravadan Modi sir. Okay. So students, generally, I tell you all guys, that's very important in life to set objectives, be very selfish and self-centered on that area. Because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, life is all alone. If you become prosperous and good, it will be good for everyone. Only the guy who has got money can give money to other people. Only a guy who has got knowledge can give knowledge to that person. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with this concept of selfishness, but then, don't stop at it. Also become selfless. Okay. So good luck all of you guys, and God bless you guys. Okay. It was nice, and thanks for the privilege given to me to address you. I am not the authority in all this. I picked up a lot from, from the data available, which today is available. Earlier, you had to give me 1 month time, I had to go to the library, but today it's all available in the net. Okay. So it was good. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was not actually this all what you have shared is not available in the library of books, sir. Especially the narrative and the incidents with our founder chairman, Indravadan Modi, sir. And that was certainly, very touching also. And these are the lessons which actually justifies the title also today, what colleges cannot teach you. Perhaps that is why, which is why, we had thought, given a thought, and Abhinand sir and maybe our CMD sir, perhaps he is the instrumental and the key person. And the many mantras you have shared, certainly, sir, I will now invite Pradeep sir to just, share with us the takeaways, and so that, students also can, gather the entire things.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. I think this is the real learning that everyone has got. And few of the things already I have mentioned in the chat box, sir.
Oh,
so
really?
whatever you are speaking, so already I was keep on mentioning on the chat boxes for the benefit of everyone, so that they can note it down and they can practically use and imbibe all those things in their life. So I was keep on writing. So like data sciences, artificial intelligence, analytics, embrace the change, everything I have written. But one thing I will say, sir, as you rightly have said, our degrees have become, after working for so much into the corporate, our degrees have become of no value now. So what is valued is our experience, our, as you said, emotional intelligence and other things, which person can judge or he can evaluate in fraction of second or fraction of minute. So that's what I think the learning is for everyone. I'm so thankful to you. One thing I would like to say here is, sir, you said of motivation, sir. So I strongly believe in Uddharet Atmane Atmanah. Uddharet Atmane Atmanah. मतलब हमारा उद्धार हमसे ही हो सकता है. अगर मेरे को मेरा उद्धार करना है तो मैं ही करूंगा और कोई नहीं करेगा. So it is Uddharet Atmane Atmanah. No one else can do it for me. I have to do everything for me.
You are so right. You're so right. I mean, that's what I always keep thinking. I mean, when you all introduced me, that when I was a sales rep, I went to the tricycle to the market. Okay, so from that time to this place, it's always my self-motivation.
Yes.
In any organization, when a group of people meet, there's always people who pull you down. There are a lot of people who encourage you. There'll be jealousy, politics, gossiping. So it's a common thing everywhere. It's not just one company. Everywhere across the world, including in the family.
Yeah.
Okay, among brothers and sisters, it will happen. So nothing new, but we should not leave our focus.
Yes.
Because by you being successful, your family will be successful.
Definitely.
If your family is successful, your community will be successful.
Definitely.
The country will be successful.
Definitely.
Correct, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
if I have money, I can always contribute to a charity. If I don't have money, I have to get charity. I don't want to take charity.
Yes. Correct, sir.
And so it's very simple. So there's nothing wrong about being selfish many times, but then your life should not stop at that point.
Yes.
So, and I am a great believer. Motivation, there's nothing called motivation.
Yes. I fully
Motivation
agree.
is a motor inside. I remember.
Fully agree.
Usko aapko dhakka dena chahiye. You have to kick yourself if you become lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not able to. If I come to you, I'll tell you how I kick myself.
Yes.
And you should know to pat yourselves.
Yes.
The great Stephen Covey, who is developing people, what did he say? You should enjoy lots of moment of private victories.
Yes.
If you have small, just go into the room and pat you. Ravi, I've done a good job. See, today after this meeting, if you people all say that Ravi has done a good lecture, I'll go and say, very good, Ravi. Done a good job. So you should enjoy a lot of moments of private victories. Okay, and this should not stop. I'm 57 now. Another 3 years I'll retire officially. But still, I have that calendar. Ravi, I've done a good job. Yeah, you don't require people to come and flatter you.
Yes.
Oh, you are great. You opened my eyes and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Don't keep sycophants around you. It will kill you.
Yes.
Don't encourage.
Correct.
Allow people to do their job everywhere. You allow your teammates to do their job.
Yes.
Allow you yourself do your job.
Correct.
Don't encourage sycophancy. Don't have people around you to muska you.
Yeah.
It will not help you. It will not help the company at all.
Yes.
Those people will take advantage of the environment
Yes.
and they will not do their job. Ultimately, they'll pull you down.
Yes.
Good. Thanks.
Lastly, sir, one thing I will say, if everyone is for the students, it's if you have a confusion, which is the right path to choose and what to do, I have a great confusion. Then one suggestion I would like to give is Mahajanah yen gataha sa pantha. मतलब जहाँ पर बड़े लोग जाते हैं, that is the right path. बड़े लोग से doesn't means the seniors. बड़े लोग means the leaders which I have idealized for, which I have been ideal. So I follow their way.
Absolute. I think you made a very good point because see, I mean, sorry, if I talking, I was also a trainer like you for.
Yes, sir.
You know, see, I tell you why. Why we have to learn and learn from other people also is very important because our human life is how much?
Yes.
60 years.
Yes.
But if you have 10 people from whom you learn,
yes,
240 years.
Yeah.
So I think you should learn as much as possible for everyone you meet.
Yes.
Learn from the security guard.
Yeah.
Learn from anyone in life. That much of humility you should have.
Yes.
Learn from everyone.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. And over to you, Namrata ma'am. I think there was a question. If we have a 1 minute of time, I think Mr. Manthan asked the question. And if we have a time, we can quickly take it.
Yes, we do have a time, sir. We should be taking that.
Okay. The question is, what is the quality? What is the single most quality which can separate the 1% from the rest of the 99%?
Oh, I mean, there is nothing like one quality, but I would always say the sense of purpose should be having high integrity. If your sense of purpose is coming from your heart, okay, sense of purpose, then it will happen.
Okay.
So because everything will follow that. If you don't have a sense of purpose, then it's like, you remember, I don't know who hit that bird's eye in Mahabharata.
Arjuna.
So how could he, Dronacharya said, you should shoot the eye of the bird. So if you have a sense of purpose and focus, you will achieve everything will follow because you will tend to do everything as per the requirement.
Yeah.
And that's I know you people have to add to that.
Right. While summarizing it, there were so many success mantras you have given, but this was the best, perhaps, that yes, we should be focused on what is the purpose. Both.
What is the purpose for which? See, look at many people. I tell you, there are people who work for their family. There are father who work for the daughter, and the daughter becomes an IAS officer. I mean, you've seen lately, the IAS, the daughter of a pan bida work shop in Allahabad has become an IAS officer. So what are the purpose of the father? Father's purpose is make his daughter successful. Okay, so if father has got a purpose, I mean, nothing more than that here. You look at so many examples which has happened. Okay, so if you have a sense of purpose, everything will follow you. That's what I'm telling you. Fundamental human qualities we should never, separate from our success factors. Everything is basically we have to continue to be honest, highly integrated, focus on the work. Whatever money we are taking, we have to do more than that. All that stuff.
In fact, sir, what you said, it's right, because we as faculties have our confined framework wherein we have to deliver with various subjects, with the credits, with the practicals. So there are so many things, which we cannot cover. And it is very apt that we have taken the initiative with the CMD sirs, inside that we should, bring industry together to the academia and bridge the gap, because ultimately they are going to be absorbed in industry only, or they may start up their own. Right. In any case, in either of the cases, we have to have this bridge to be gap, this gap to be bridged. Perhaps I think, that's very wonderful initiative. And I thank Cadila for supporting us. And Abhinand sir, would you like to say something? Else we will ask our student to wrap up. And
Dr. Namrata, if you don't mind, I just want to add a little to you.
Sure.
Okay. What I mean to, Abhinand, just 1 minute, I want to add to it.
Sure.
I know, Namrata, the faculty have a lot of work, no doubt. Because see, your job is just not teaching. You have to administrative job also. Admin job is there. And you'll have to have a parents focus on the children. It takes a lot of time off. So therefore, building up small student bodies to take care of the task is very important. Like you cannot go out of the campus and meet corporates.
Right.
You have a nice group of students who are given different tasks. And their job, I just told you, if one group of people keep tracking big personalities coming to Ahmedabad, their job is only that. So you will have to delegate and create student bodies. That's what my recommendation to IU was. Create student bodies and then give them specific tasks. And typical of that corporate style, you have to do review and all that stuff. And you should set up interview models for the last 2 years of students to identify the gaps and then give them chances to improve on that. And then interview them again. So that by the time they come out of the college, they have got interviewed 2-3 times.
Yeah, true. Agreed, sir.
Make out what is the background. So you have to create interview environment. Like the pilot taking training. He doesn't fly. He has got a simulator. He sits and flies, learns to fly. And all the environment is created. Likewise, you have to create a very strict environment for interview and then talk to students. But it takes time. So you cannot do it. Neither all the faculties can do it.
Yeah.
But if you have the help of good student groups, I think you will succeed. Because that's how, I tell you what, just hold on, as I was going through a lot of information, there are a lot of universities like Manipal University, UEC in Bangalore, where companies have set up their laboratories in the universities. And they expose students to the skills of artificial intelligence and all that. But it will become like during our science, you have this laboratory work. No? So the companies set up their laboratory there. And the students are invited and to participate.
Great.
So in Manipal, I think big companies have set up the lab there. UEC, I just lost the page. Yeah, just hold on. I'll give you 2-3. Just hold on. I will just share few things. See, for example, Tech Mahindra has opened a 5-acre tech and learning center to focus on employability, skill development, and job readiness of new graduates. TCS has joined closing the skill gap by committing to train 10 million people. Okay, and Philips India has set up artificial intelligence labs at Manipal University, which is called the Health Suite Insights Laboratory. Okay, in support of the adoption of analytics and AI in key healthcare domains. And IBM, Mphasis, Wipro, Infosys, SAP India, Excel, etc. They have set up laboratories in Manipal, Indian Institute of Science, UECE, MSRIT, IIT Kharagpur. So this is only a small list which I am telling you. So more industry collaboration, which Abhinand can definitely help with this huge contact and knowledge. I think we can invite people, but then nothing is possible without the students becoming vigorous in terms of organization skills, in terms of forming good groups. Because if you notice what I told you, the entire millennials' good qualities, matlab 90 out of 100, is on these parameters of selflessness, teamwork, which has been told very good about our millennials. Now we should take advantage of it. Taking advantage, of course, is the job of the faculty, providing that environment. I think you will succeed in that.
Thank you so much. This was, in fact, very, very vital, to the growth of Industrial University, which is in a very infancy stage. Over to Abhinand sir for his reflection.
So I would first like to thank Ravindra ji for giving such a vibrant lecture to the students. They must be charred up. And this is the funneling of his all experience, which you can get it, and this time which is spent, you must get at least minimum $5,000 ticket to a person like him. That's what you got it at free. And I definitely like his advice on connecting with different industries, which we are already planning. And we have already done that part as a part of a life science university. And we continue to do that part, become IU as the hallmark, because the name of the sir is there. Definitely it's close to Dr. Modi sir and myself both. So we want to see that, the university reach a hallmark figure. Though universities take, over a 2-3 decades to reach that stage. But IU is, in a short span of just 2.5 years, it's like acting like, which I say, it's acting like a boss baby. And it's going to move fast.
Very good. Good luck.
And thank you, Ravindraji, and
Thank you.
for all.
Yeah.
We'll continue to listen to all the stalwarts, and my students will be happy to gather that knowledge. Thank you.
Now, I request Sumit sir to unmute Shreya Patel to have, the vote of thanks officially from student body.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, I have unmuted already. Shreya, you can do it.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I am Shreya. I would like to thank our most honorable speaker, Mr. Ravindranath Pullanar, who is the CEO IRM group of company. First of all, I'd like to thank sharing such a thought-provoking and interesting words. The main, I would like focus that you have said that treat your life as a college. It will be most interesting for us to think about that. And life learning should not stop. Nothing will be stopped in the world. Will make such beautiful. Sorry.
No issues. Continue, Shreya.
Continue confidently.
Yes, Shreya, continue. Shreya, do you have a net connectivity? Proper net connectivity? Shreya, can you hear me?
I think there's some problem.
There might be
glitch.
Net issues also, it could be there. Yes. I finally invite my colleague, Dr. Sumit, to wrap up this entire session, and thanking everyone. So over to Sumit sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So thank you very much, Ravindra sir, for giving this wonderful, lecture to our students. Definitely, they have got many things from this lecture. Thank you, Pradeep sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vinay sir.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I got the message from Shreya that was a power disruption. Perhaps that is why she was not able to do that. She has texted me, and she regrets, for not completing that, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.
And thank you, Mr. Pradeep, for supporting the entire in logistics part. And we look forward for Friday session also, and continued sessions with Ravindra sir also, as and when we get the chance.
Okay.
Thank you, Abhinand sir,
Thanks.
for supporting us and initiating this very, very ambitious, webinar leadership series. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Have a nice day, sir.
Yeah.